Vincent Margera lied there in Chester County Hospital. Throughout his life, Vincent, aka Don Vito, was struggling with kidney and liver disease due to his chronic alcoholism. His stepsister, April Margera, was one of the last people he spoke to. He said to me last week that he wanted everyone to know it was a good ride. He enjoyed himself and wanted to thank all of the fans. He went through a lot, especially with that Denver stuff. He wanted everyone to know that he never did that. The Denver stuff she was referring to was an incident that costed him his career. Margera was convicted of grabbing the breasts and buttocks of 2 girls aged 12 and 14. He was sentenced to 10 years on parole and barred from playing the role of Don Vito. The idea that Don Vito got away with a lot in this case will baffle many, and the story it tells is actually like an episode of Viva La Bam. Today I will be exploring the court documents that showcase the events that led up to his rabbit hole. In addition, I will be providing obnoxious, crazy moments in Vito's career.
Yeah. Alright, here's 15 and it's a $5 tip. There you go.
No, Vito.
Well, you want a bigger tip? Better money. Good. Bueno.
No, Vito.
That's a lot of money. It's a goddamn more money than what you...
Before the rise of the internet, television was the major source of media throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Exposure to juvenile content was limited as television regulation became prominent in the corporate world. But there was one group that stuck out.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass. Oh. You spit on me.
Say hello to the Jackass crew. We all remember them. Before I relish into my Jackass studies, I'm interested in sparking my research with specifically Bam Margera, most widely known for his appearances on MTV, Tony Hawk Games, as mentioned Jackass, and most recently, Dr. Phil. In 2003, Viva La Bam was produced by Bam himself. The show was so popular, he was given a $400,000 budget for every episode. Bam Margera has created quite a timeline of creations, and I'm currently investing time into watching these and crafting a video on the biography of Bam. However, there was one man I wanted to discuss prior to this.
Funny, man. It is funny.
You went to Istanbul and then where?
Constantinople, somewhere.
So where did you go?
I went to Constantinople and Abu Dhabi.
And where?
And Cabo Wabo. I don't know, man. I don't know where I was.
The Gibber Man, Don Vito. Suddenly, the man disappeared from Bam's projects. Vincent Margera, brother of Phil, was hired by Bam in 2003 because of his TV persona. His toxic quirks were a breeding ground. His spastastic demeanor was rich in profanity, junk food, and alcohol.
Want a hot dog, Vito?
No, I'm full of hot dogs right now. I want a hamburger.
90% of the time, Don Vito's characters required subtitles in order to be fully understood.
They come to all these stupid places and I gotta hang around here, Jesus Christ. I'm sleeping and I wake up in Mardi Gras. He does whatever the fuck he wants.
Let's take a look at Season 4, Episode 2 of Viva La Bam. This is the second part of a 2-part series about touring Europe, and they have arrived at Italy. So let me translate him for you.
Damn Tommy Doty, you make me look like a dope, man. Give me my clothes back. I'm getting tired of it.
I am appalled by your decision on enforcing me to wear this silly attire. I would enjoy the gesture of reestablishing my casual streetwear of choice.
No, I like Italy. I hang around. I want to get Leaning Tower pizza and I'll be happy.
Regardless of my digest, I greatly favor our trip to Italy. However, I would enjoy a visit to Pizzeria, located at the base of this country's great monument. Bam then agrees to bet $100 if this pizza shop was considered true. Upon arriving at the monument, construction was in progress. Vito changed his claim to pointing at a pizza shop adjacent to the monument.
Pizza right there.
Dude, Vito, you said that there was a pizza shop at the bottom of the Leaning Tower. You didn't say a souvenir shop
it's
down
there,
that way.
but they're doing reconstruction.
I want $100. There's no pizza shop at the bottom.
The whole goddamn city's named after pizza.
But due to Vito's obnoxious ignorance, the game seeks enjoyment in the torment of Vito, with practical jokes and constant ditching. I'm going to talk more about his character on camera on a different video, but I will still also be playing clips too, so I'm going to talk more in this video about why he was arrested and what happened after. On August 18th, 2006, Don Vito was present at an autograph signing that was located at a mall skate park in Colorado. Names of these victims remain protected, and I will be using their names as letters. A call was received that 2 females were sexually assaulted by Vincent Margera. The detective didn't respond to the scene initially as the victims had left and Margera spoke with a lawyer. A few days later, the detective interviewed the first victim. So R was at the skate park with her mother and boyfriend and discovered that Don Vito and another party, Bam At that moment, the judge had to pause for clarification between Don Vito and Vincent Margera, which are the same person. Posing for a photo, Vito reached around and grabbed her butt and hovered his left hand over the young girl's crotch while moving two fingers, in which the court then clarified that it was indeed a finger. During an interview with R's parents, the court discovered that during the interaction, they mouthed the words, "Don't touch her," in which Don Vito said, "I'm not touching her." B was present at the skate park and she was reluctant to approach the autograph table after noticing that Don Vito held another girl. Her friend came back unscathed, therefore she felt relieved. Vito then autographs her right arm. He then grabbed her arm again and reached for her right breast and said, "Big boob." At that moment, the Vincent side of the table and others in line were reported to be giggling. B commented Vito's actions by calling him a fat pervert. The next incident involved a girl by the name of H. H was with 4 of her friends when 3 of them took a photo with Vito, lining side by side. H was on Vito's right side. She then asked if she could have a sticker on the table. Vito eagerly agreed and then placed one sticker on her boob and another on her upper thigh. The photo was taken and then Vito reached for her breast. She then stopped him and he told her to calm down. The group was then told by another that they were taking way too long, so they had to leave. Parents of a 14-year-old girl labeled as A filed an incident which led to an interview with the officer and A was reluctant to tell the officer that Margera pawed her breast. She denied the profane action. Upon showing the officer the photo of the autograph and the picture was proudly labeled Don Vito Grabby Titty, the officer then questioned the obvious title. That was just how she titled it. Clearly this girl had a man crush on him. The officer's apprehension of Vito was quite a fiasco. Vito was approaching his Jeep as 2 officers walked over to him. He was already wasted out of his mind. They asked him to step away from the vehicles, as cops do. He begins to struggle as the 2 try to grab both of his arms. Both officers pull tasers and request for him to stop resisting. But due to his size, she thought it would be best to holster her taser and focus on cuffing him instead. During the arrest, Vito repeatedly called the officers psycho bitches. So I thought this would be really interesting if I tell you guys about what happened in the courtroom. One of the lawyers asked, did he make any references himself that may be involved in like the MTV world, if you are familiar? I could just imagine the lawyer immediately saying, "Objection, Your Honor." Relevance. Alright, so that objection is made when an officer believes that irrelevant evidence to the case is being brought up. Anyway, thanks Google for providing me all my legal info. The rebellious buffoon chose to not remain seated and repeatedly called the officers psycho bitches. They then forced him to sit down like a parent would do to a rebellious child. Vito then states that the officers broke his arm. They contacted the West Metro Fire Department. They met at the substation and asked Margera what was up. Don Vito then says, "That psycho bitch broke my arm." Another objection was claimed and the judge abstained. So however, further explanation of the arrest reveals that throughout it all, Margera was sexually harassing the officers. As she was rearranging his cuffs, he was mentioning that the reason he was being arrested was because she wanted him to lick her pussy. At the hospital, he also told her that, "I bet your pussy's so tight, you can't even smile." The court then halted the subject. Margera's defense stated that he was also simply portraying his goofy, outrageous, and vulgar self. It was simply entertainment, and that's what got the laughs. He was so drunk at this event, he was stated that he peed his pants. Defense attorneys portrayed Margera as a benign bubbler, and stated that Margera's signature arm movement may have been mistaken for breast fondling. Later, the court reached the verdict that Don Vito was guilty of 2 charges of sexual assault on a child. Upon this result, Vito stumbles to the ground. Security guards then rushed to his location. He then shouted in a Don Vito-like manner, "Just kill me now. I can't fucking spend the rest of my life in prison. I didn't do anything." Deputies retrieved a wheelchair and defibrillator, but neither were used. It took 8 deputies to restrain and relocate Margera to jail. He was then put at level 1 suicide watch. The official sentence would be scheduled for December 20th. He then paid his $50,000 bail that Monday, and you would think that'd be it, right? He's gonna be sentenced and everything's gonna be good. Well, no, it's not, dude. Because on December 10th, 2006, Vincent Margera appeared in court on 12 felony counts of violating bail. Bail is the conditional release of a defendant with the promise to appear in court when required, and in order for bail to be lawful, certain bail bond conditions must be met, which include checking in by telephone twice a week, random urinalysis, no contact with children younger than 18, and no drugs and alcohol. He violated these restrictions at 12 count. It was later discovered that this was due to his possession of the psychoactive stimulant stimulant cocaine. But get ready for this. For violating his bail at 12 counts, he actually got away pretty scot-free. He was sentenced to a 2-year probation stint that will run concurrent with his sex offender probation, meaning it will run at the same time, so you're just doing 2 probations at once. So rewinding to his initial sentence, shockingly, Vincent Margera was sentenced to 12 years on serious probation to be served in the state of Colorado, where which he remained until the judge could approve switching his probation to Pennsylvania, his home state. In addition, he cannot play as his Don Vito character. He must register as a sex offender in both Pennsylvania and Colorado. Lastly, he must figure out his alcoholism and get mentally evaluated. There was probably a reason he was able to evade jail time. 1. His physical health. According to April Margera, who testified for his brother-in-law, Don Vito had an array of physical disabilities, the most obvious being strabismus, also known as being cockeyed. He also had poor knees and a really bad back. His weight prevented him from exercising. Episodes of Viva Bam show that Don Vito prefers the lazy route more than the active one.
Vito, you're losing fair and square.
I ain't gonna hit on a 20. Are you sick in the head? I'm talking to him because he's talking. You gotta give that card to him. You gotta be mentally insane to bet him. Hey! Get him away. I know you're gonna knock my car out. My teeth is crazy. I can't walk back to the hospital.
What are you freaking out for?
Because they kicked me out for no reason.
Yeah, what?
Vito really only made it to the age of 59. His life expectancy being so low would mean that really any sentence would most likely be a life sentence. Number 2, his alcoholism. I've said many times Don Vito was a chronic alcoholic, and that's not a lie. And being part of Bam's social circle didn't really help.
Try to tell the story because I can't even understand him.
Apparently, Vito
got busted. It wasn't me. It was a setup.
You were selling meth when I was 8 years old. I remember.
Vito used to be an ex-meth dealer.
Have an abortion. But
Did you make good money?
It wasn't me. I fucking told you.
Vito,
whisper. Pistachio.
Fuck
Oh my God, you are so hammered. I'm playing a song.
no more beers for Vito.
No more.
Don Vito was drunk during the event and the initial arrest. During that entire documentary with Ryan Dunn, Don Vito almost got arrested twice.
We had a long night before us, so we're already kind of drunk when we get to Baton Rouge. We're hanging out. Well, he's already drunk, starts getting drunker, and starts, yo, yo, yelling yo at the top of his lung.
Ah, let me get my car.
We're drinking beers. Finally, security comes by. Okay, what's going on? Like, we hear you yelling across the thing. We're like, all right, that's it, Vito. You did it. You're getting yourself arrested. You know, they weren't really going to arrest him. We're just like, okay, you did it. Like, we got to go.
Oh!
What a drive. What a day. We're at this casino that's right by the venue. Next thing you know, someone comes up and says, hey, Vito's getting arrested in the lobby. Come help.
Don't put security on the table.
They're gonna do it.
What's happening?
They're gonna get us in trouble.
Yo!
He was out of Budweiser, and nobody would get him a Budweiser. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. They stopped selling liquor at 2, yet for some reason he thought since it was a casino, they were allowed to serve 24 hours. You know, I yelled at him like, Vito, shut the fuck up, get up to your room, and go to sleep. We'll get you beer in the morning.
Alcoholism doesn't justify the action. However, alcohol does have an explanation of having an ability to make people black out and forget the events that transpired.
Oh, here's the deal. Okay. They want y'all gone now. I guess he's made too much of a disturbance that y'all gotta go.
This manager comes inside, and Vito jumps up like, oh, like he was asleep or something, you know? Gives him a ticket. One cop's actually kind of a fan, you know, like, we got to give his ticket.
It wasn't me.
I'm amazed that we were able to let him stay. They're still gonna give him a ticket. I mean,
What's it say though?
You're being charged with disturbing the peace by intoxication.
By what?
By intoxication.
that means you're drunk. You've had way too many Bud Selects.
Drunk in public, Vito. Drunk
I'm
in public.
intoxicated?
Yes, you are.
You seriously?
That's what they said.
Who said? That's what they're saying.
Yeah.
Come on.
Let's go ahead and sign right here on the X for me.
Gotta come back here to fight it?
You got a court date on October 12th.
We're looking for Santa Claus that week.
Which, I'm not surprised, he did. 3. The fourth witness. The deputy interviewed about a dozen people for this case. A fourth charge could have potentially existed, however the girl was defending Vito by denying the claim. Don Vito grabby titty, resulting in this incident being inconclusive. If that fourth witness would have came through, Vito's sentence could have been a bit more severe. It's the same lawyer from the Kobe O'Brien case too, so like that's probably why he got away with it. He spent the rest of his sentence living in Westchester, PA. With that, he was out of the job. His last appearance would be a 2006 special with Ryan Dunn. After that, his life kind of remained out of the spotlight, so there's not really much that's known about Don Vito outside of it. I mean, you could probably do some digging, but it seemed that he spent most of his life under the radar. And in October of 2015, Margera collapsed to the ground and entered into a coma. The years of living like Don Vito catched up to him. His organs were tapping out. He awoke that Friday in critical condition. The doctors told him to prepare for the worst. It was a miracle, but only a temporary one. Don Vito made his last calls to his family and made his final goodbyes, one being April Margera. He said to me last week that he wanted everyone to know it was a good ride. He went through a lot, especially with the Denver stuff. He wanted everyone to know that he never did that. On November 15th, 2015, his organs failed for the last time. Vincent Margera passed away in his hospital bed at age 59. However you really want to see this man is up to you. His actions at the day of the incident was unforgivable, and many of his actions that happened prior to this is pretty fucked up. However, a lot of people can agree on the side that Don Vito was just a careless loser, and that's what made him funny.
And what are you wearing?
The lederhosen you gave me, because my clothes are still in Saudi Arabia. They called the hotel. You keep switches around and don't know where to go.
Vito, you're dressed for Germany. They're going to throw us out of Switzerland.
I thought the Swiss was neutral. They don't care about nothing.
He let himself be consumed by his poor lifestyle. His alcoholism led him to do stupid shit out of the hopes of making people laugh. He succeeded at that. In all honesty, it's more people laughing at him for being the way he is. Like him or not, his actions caught up to his demise as he laid peacefully for the last time. There's this clip where like he's eating a Subway meatball marinara and he eats it with the wrapping and he doesn't bite through the wrapping altogether. He just lets it glide passes through his teeth. It's so disgusting. He was so repulsive of a human being, and like, so apparently Don Vito accidentally hit a taxi cab driver. So the taxi driver calls the police and he wants to press charges.
So we're in this cab, you know, and the radio he doesn't like.
Oh, airplane! Shut up.
He can't drink beer in the cab. The fare's way too much for him. And
I wasn't playing it anyway, but he wouldn't let me play the radio.
And so
Bruce Springsteen, I wanted.
And so you punch the guy in the head.
Nice, went like
or
this.
Slap him. I don't want it.
I don't know. I didn't do it.
I'll charge you for assault.
That's assault?
Yeah, no, keep your hands off me. Don't touch me. Yeah, can you dispatch a police officer to, from right here on River Oaks Drive?
Come on, please, sir.
I'm in a cab driver here and a fine young gentleman in the front seat here. Just smacked me in the head, so I'd like to press charges against him.
Oh, I'm scared.
You hear this guy? Yeah. My name's Roger. It's Seabreeze Cab.
Roger, pussy. Yep, pussy. Suck dick.
The cab driver's calling the cops. We offer the cab driver some money and say, look, just take this bribe. He's retarded, which wasn't a tough sell.
All right, listen, I'll give you $50. Just please forget about that.
Spend the rest of your life making
I'll just get in back here.
excuses for Vito here.
All right, so we wound up paying this cab driver off, and he continues to drive us. All right, it's $200. I'm sorry, I won't give you any more problems, I promise. I apologize for that.
No!
Vito never learns his lesson because nobody's given him AIDS yet.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think that really happened. It's crazy shit, dude. Anyway, I'm gonna make some more videos soon. I know you guys like my wrestling videos, but my Undertaker video, after like 200 views, like got demonetized. I mean, that's just how it goes with making wrestling content. I don't know, man. No, I don't really know. I'm just kind of doing what I want to do. And so that's all that matters, but... Alright. Everyone, peace out.
I ordered a Confederate army.
Why?
Because we're living in the olden days.